The Sasuke Retrieval arc was one of the hardest arcs, probably the best arc in all of Naruto. Let's talk about it. Sasuke Retrieval arc was one of the best arcs in all of Naruto, if not the best arc. In terms of writing, storytelling, there was a desperate sense of struggle. There was actually like a real sense of danger. This was like the arc that turned boys into men. Everybody who had sent Naruto, Neji, Shikamaru, Choji, and Kiba, y'all know y'all sent them on a suicide mission. Knock it off, come on. Y'all know what y'all did was wrong. They were clearly outmatched. This arc was fire. I feel like this arc had everything that makes an arc just phenomenal. It had great storytelling, emotion, it had intensity, it had like a real sense of danger. It made every character feel important. I feel like the one thing that kind of holds Naruto back, especially after the time skip, was that there was just a crazy amount of focus on Naruto and Sasuke as characters. And there were other times where some characters were kind of in the spotlight-ish. Yeah, I mean, they had a couple fights and whatnot, but before we get into the video, I'm gonna need y'all to hit that like button, and I'm gonna need y'all to hit that subscribe button. The narrative was on Naruto and Sasuke, and I mean, everybody else kind of got sided off. Rock Lee and Boruto. Rock Lee is a taijutsu master. These guys were fighting Jigen and Ishiki, right? Momoshiki, for example. They needed taijutsu to actually deal with that man. Y'all telling me that within all the Kages and whatnot, not one of y'all thought to bring Lee? That's cap. Come on. Naruto and Jiraiya come back with Tsunade because, of course, Sasuke caught a fade from Itachi. Kakashi did too. And Tsunade helps him out. I mean, they back to normal and whatnot. And I mean, of course, Sasuke looking at Naruto like, all right, you nice, but I mean, I'm trying to box. What's good? Naruto with it, and they go to the rooftop. And these guys, they slugging each other too. Like, I mean, they going straight hands. Just before they clash, Sakura was gonna die because they got to the point where they couldn't retract their jutsu. But Kakashi steps in and he throws them both aside. And I mean, Sasuke out here thinking he top dog, like he got that dog in him or something, like thinking, all right, like, you know, your Rasengan is nice, but you know, it's Dory, like, you know, reigns on top. He jumps over the fence just to see the impact crater left by the Rasengan. And of course, this man's in his feelings even more. He's like, damn, like, man, y'all got me upset. Sasuke's in this pursuit of power, and I mean, Orochimaru already kind of threw him a couple pitches and whatnot, and you know, the Sound 4 jump in, and just before they jump in and whatnot, Kakashi tries to talk to him one-on-one, and he's like, I'll drop everybody you know, and Kakashi's like, yeah, I've been there, done that. Whatever, what else is next? Sound 4 jump in, and I mean, they run a fade on Sasuke, and they're like, yo, we'll take you to Orochimaru, you're gonna get that power, and then y'all nice. And the one thing that I love about this arc, right, was that there was just a constant sense of danger, in the sense that there was no safety net. No one won. Like, no one won. They actually failed the mission. They actually lost. They went in knowing that this mission was basically suicide, especially with everybody that they went up against. Like, when you look at the matchups, right? Choji fought Jirobo. He just about won, but he was on the verge of death. Like, I genuinely thought Choji was gonna die. That's how intense, that's how serious, that's how focused I was. Like, I was there. Neji fought Kidomaru, right? Kidomaru. This fight was so intense. Neji, being a genius and always being on top, to see him reduced to basically nothing, to the point where he has to fight somebody that's basically his weakness. I thought Neji was gonna die too. Shikamaru's fight, Rock Lee, Kiba, they had to get help from the Sand Village. Come on, tell me that's not crazy. No one won their fight, and even when Naruto caught up to Sasuke and they ran that legendary fade, he still lost. Sasuke was out here fighting Naruto, right? The fight was it was like even, and then Sasuke was winning, and then Naruto was winning. I felt like Sasuke got more hits in, but then Naruto kind of hits harder. Naruto ended up losing because, I mean, Sasuke basically won the fight. I really enjoyed the fact that they were focused on other characters. I feel like the decline of the time skip was that the main focus was always on Naruto and Sasuke. And yes, they're the main characters of the show and whatnot, but I think it would have been good, or at least it would have been nice to see, like, you know, some shine on other characters. So for example, when it came to Choji and Jirobo, he's in his feelings, right? Basically, he feels like, you know, he's like the weak link, he's like a scrub. And I feel like his fight was really just proof that, you know, he can make it with the best of them. Like, he can compete with everybody else. Like, he's not no weakling and he's not no scrub. He was the first one to sit there and say, all right, guys, I got this. I'll catch up with y'all. And I mean, he had these pills, which was like his family clan's, you know, secret technique. It was green, yellow, red. They're almost like energy pills to some extent, to the point where they grant you a crazy amount of strength. The red one leads to death. And it got to the point where Jirobo got so strong, Choji was forced to take the red one. He got into that butterfly mode. Dude was looking lean, like dude was cut, like he was nice. And then you just see the butterflies around him. He's like out cold. Like, at that point in time, I literally thought he died. Neji versus Kidomaru, right? Neji's a genius. He's always been the guy who's always been on top, who everybody else is trying to compete with. But now the roles have been flipped to the point where now he's not in the underdog seat, where he's not having to rely on ideas which he might think Naruto would do. Even to the extent where he sat there and thought, man, what would Naruto do in this situation? I feel like when you're in a position like that, it definitely makes things a lot more tougher, especially because the fighter he was fighting was a long distance fighter. Now, I mean, Neji's always been about close combat. I mean, he don't know nothing about no distance. Like, come on. At the end of it, he takes another arrow and he uses that as an opportunity to land his final hit. And at that point, he's just slumped up against a tree and he's done. And I sat there and I thought, man, like, these dudes is really done. Even though Choji and Neji won, they barely won. They scraped the W, and I love that, because it's not like one of those arcs where, like, you know, you can kind of predict. Well, you can predict that, you know, something's gonna happen. They was kind of just sitting there. They was like, hey, I mean, they won, but like, barely. And then when you think of the fight that Shikamaru had, it was a battle of the brains, to the point where he was fighting somebody almost as smart as him, maybe just as smart. He didn't even get a W. Tamari had to jump in and basically run the fake. Kiba's fight was probably one of the, I won't even call it scary. He almost resorted to basically taking his own life. And I was like, yo. Yes, it was Kiba and Akamaru, right? But then it was versus Sakon and Yukon. And I feel like in this fight, I mean, the fight was cool. I mean, I didn't really think nothing much of it. I feel like the fights that really kind of hit me, which was the Neji and the Choji fight. And then the Shikamaru one was really the battle of the brains. The other fight that I thought was just top tier elite was the Rock Lee and Kimimaro fight. Rock Lee has been wasted potential. I'm definitely going to make a video about that. Rock Lee, of course, I feel like Rock Lee's character arc in the pre-time skip years was phenomenal. He could have been like the Toji of Naruto. Like, if anybody knows, you know Toji. Like the Maki Zenin, and then, you know, the Toji, Fushiguro. Like, come on, like, he could have been that. He was the guy who had no chakra. He relied on taijutsu alone. And I mean, the fact that he had, you know, the 8 inner gates, just his own unique set of abilities so that he could keep up with everybody else, just made it all the more nice. He fights Gaara and he's out of commission. And I feel like a lot of that was really him coming to terms and accepting that he might not ever be a ninja again. And of course, he goes through the surgery. He gets his spines basically back to normal. I feel like the best taijutsu sequence that has probably been done, or at least one of the best anyway, was when he fought with Kimimaro when he became Drunk Lee. I am so surprised they never actually brought that back. That was probably one of the most fire exchange of hands I have seen in a long time. Like, that's actually my go-to whenever I decide to watch straight anime boxing where they're just slugging and going crazy. That's in there. Despite Lee actually overwhelming Kimimaro, the moment he went into that curfew state, I mean, that was pretty much a wrap. And I mean, the person who ended up taking him out of being a ninja actually ended up being the one to save him. And I mean, that was just dope. The Naruto and Sasuke fight, that's probably one of the greatest fades. I would say that fight is better than the one that they had in Shippuden. I think the one in the time skip, at the end of the time skip, I think at the time when it came out, Kishimoto only had 5 chapters to do that in. I mean, of course they did it better in the anime because they were able to extend certain scenes. But that fade that they ran, ooh, that fade was godly. And I mean, everybody knows that mean 3-4 piece combo that Naruto gave Sasuke. Naruto was too nice. And I feel like just Overall, right, my final thoughts, there's so much that I could say about the Naruto and Sasuke fight. Like, that fight was a great moment in the arc overall, because I mean, it was the final part of the arc. The parts that really made this arc so great was just the focus on other characters, the development, the sense of there being like a genuine threat. The fact that, you know, these guys could go, but they might not actually come back. And I feel like in animes nowadays, with the exception of Jujutsu Kaisen, there's never like a real sense of danger, in the sense that you don't even really see there being any hope for the good guys at all. This created that moment several times over. And the fact that they lost, they barely scraped a W with any of their fights. Lee, Shikamaru, Kiba, they had to get help from the Sand Village. So I mean, I'm gonna calculate that as a loss. Sasuke beat Naruto, but Naruto actually accomplished what he wanted to do, which was to actually put a scratch on Sasuke's headband. So I mean, I feel like it's a way to kind of be like, he lost, but technically he hit his goal, whatever. He wasn't really focused on winning, but yeah, whatever. The Sasuke Retrieval arc was one of the greatest arcs that I've seen in Naruto. The other arcs don't really show as much quality as the Sasuke Retrieval one, just in terms of how it's actually been set out. But I mean, not saying that they're not good. I feel like some of them are okay or whatever, but this one got me off the edge of my seat. But let me know your thoughts. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll holler at y'all later, man. Peace.